Hello, welcome back to the garage. In today's video, we're going to pick up right where we left off in the previous video with the headlight repair, take this front grille off, and fix this broken headlight. Alright, so before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and put my coveralls on because it's 32 degrees in here. It's a little chilly, so that's better. Alright, so we're going to need a couple wrenches here. So there's 3 bolts on either side of the grill on these old Chevys that hold the grill in. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple wrenches and I'll meet you guys down there. So, up underneath the fender wells on these old trucks are 3 bolts, like I said before. And they're 1/2 inch, at least that's what I have, are 1/2 inch bolts. So I'm going to go ahead and get up in here, undo them, and then I'll show you where the holes are once when the sun or light's coming through those holes. So. Now that we're up under the fender, you can see that there's 2 spots where there's supposed to be bolts. One up there, one over there, and this bolt right here. I left that one in so the grill doesn't just fall out, but those are the 3 bolts that hold the front grill in on these 60s Chevys. So if you've been confused on where in the heck, how, what, there you go. Those are the 3. So anywho, let's go ahead and get the other side off and get the grill on the bench. So now with the hood open, I'm going to go ahead and unplug the headlights from up here. In the previous video, we had gotten the headlights to work, and that's when we kind of found out that the adjustment on this light here was non-existent. So in order to get these headlights adjusted properly, we got to fix that, but in order to fix it, well, it's got to come off. So we're going to disconnect the harness there. And hopefully we won't have to disconnect too much. So with that disconnected, I'm going to go ahead and slowly take the bolts out of these. So if they're only in finger tight, I left 2 in them so that it wouldn't just drop on the ground. There it goes. There's one. This is the spooky one now. And I'm gonna have to get the wrench for that. They're just rusted enough. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so now you can see kind of how the wiring goes in this thing. It's kind of almost looks like just extension cord wire, honestly. But I'd really much rather just unplug the entire harness and take it all with me so I could check the wires, which means I'm gonna have to push this plug out. There we go. All right, I'm gonna go set this on the bench, so come follow me. Come on. Okay. It actually looks really good. These are the brackets I was talking about, the 3 bolts, and I had to consult my literature in order to find that, because I thought maybe it bolted somewhere up here, but nope. Just 6 little bolts to hold this all in, but this was the plug that I pushed out, and I'm surprised that it's, look at that. It's still pliable. So 61 years of sitting, you know, they don't make rubber like that anymore. Let's just say that. So What we're going to work on is this side of the whole show. And you can kind of see, right, let me get you in here. If you look right here, you see how there's nothing in that square, just like how there's nothing in this square? Well, this square here should look like this one right here. The bolt going through a piece of plastic so that it could be adjusted up and down. This adjusts it side to side. Here's the other side for reference. So you got piece of plastic, bolt going through, piece of plastic, bolt going through, and then nothing. So that's how you adjust the headlights on these old trucks. And I mean, most cars are like that. But since we're missing this, we can't effectively adjust the headlights. Ooh, that was a lot of yak just came out. See, it's secure side to side, but not up and down. So this headlight's pointing at the road, whereas this headlight here is pointing at the scenery. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off these beauty rings on both of them. Just may as well even clean up the chrome. So we want to try to clean up everything on this, make this thing show ready. So we'll clean up the chrome, clean up what we couldn't clean on the grill. There's quite a bit of dust back here. I'd like to try to treat some of this rust so that it doesn't continue or get worse. That is amazing that all of these are still intact. Oh, this one needs a zip tie. Its tape is gone. So we'll go ahead and fix this. Check to see what we've got under here. We'll clean up the connections on these because these grounds look absolutely terrible. And since we have it off, we may as well go ahead and clean them. So we'll have to get a little creative on this over here. We might have to put a nut on the end of this so that we can... Ooh, that looks really bad. So we're going to take the headlight off and kind of look at what we've got for the ballast, because this is all kinds of... Oh, I see. Never mind. The plastic piece is there, but these ears busted off. So yeah, we're going to have to get creative, because if we put a nut on the back of that, we're not going to be able to adjust it properly. So anywho, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have behind this on the truck. So this is what we had sitting behind the grill on this truck. A lot of the original paint is still there, surprisingly. If you look down here, you can see what this all looked like before it got cleaned. So with this all off, now that we have full access to this white stripe, I think it would be a good idea to go ahead and try to clean it, get it back to white. You can kind of see over here. That's just from rust and age, but we can get it back to that white there. I don't know if you can see that well. Oh yeah, you can. That right there, that yellow discoloration, how nice and white it is over there. So we're going to go ahead and clean up this stripe. You can see it's kind of gone in places too, but probably try to clean up some of this too. Everything is surprisingly in good condition. I haven't seen any really bad rust spots. But so we'll go ahead and play around with this. But I think what we need to focus on right now is getting this off, or at least this beauty ring and this light off. Okay, so we're going to want to be really careful taking these off. Who knows when the last time these were removed. Judging with how rusty they are, probably quite a while. Ooh, that is really messy. So part of what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cleaning up everything that we can, especially since we have it taken apart. It's part of restoring this truck on a budget. So cleaning up what we've got, making it look nice, trying not to change too much of anything, because that's actually kind of a pretty good patina, just use. But what we need to get out is this right here. But we're going to have to take... Maybe we won't. Let's try to fish it out. There we go. So here's what we got. This little piece of plastic is supposed to have 2 tabs on it, like a clip. Ooh, yeah, and it's really tight too, so go ahead and try to see if we can't find something that's similar to this. So I had a thought, I'd like to try to save this bolt because there's nothing wrong with it. I suppose it's more of a screw, but you know what I mean. So this vise is not attached, but it'll do good for what we're doing. I'm gonna go ahead and try to break the plastic piece off. Maybe I'll try to unscrew it. Oh, I don't like that. That feels like strip. Yeah, if I go any further, I'm going to strip the head of that. So we'll just cut off the plastic. And then we'll fix the threads, make it look new again. And then all we have to find is something to use for the adjustment. Let's see, what could I use? This will do. Oh yeah, that was never going to come off. You know, it is crazy how rust can even seize plastic. It's just one of them things. Okay, so since we've already got this kind of solidified in here, maybe we'll tighten it up just a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and run a wire wheel on these threads, and then probably a die to, because they don't actually look too bad aside from being rusty. So I'm gonna go grab some tools. I'll be right back. So before I run a tap over it or some thread fixers, I'm gonna clean them up as best as I can with the wire wheel. So it's gonna get a little loud. Okay, so now that it looks brand new, we're gonna get some fun tools out. Now, if you don't have these in your toolbox, I highly suggest you get them. So they're called Thread Restorer File Set. You can get them from Snap-on or wherever you want to get them from, but these ones here have a really nice little handle on them. Some of them, well, most of them, just they come, you know, one end, both ends have the file on them. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to see which one of these fit the threads. Obviously not that one, but this is a fine thread, so we'll start rotating this around till we find the one that matches. Kind of looks like it might be this one. Probably could just use like a thread key, but that's what all these little hash marks are, right? Okay, so we definitely found the one we need to use, which is, can't read it. That's what it is. But it's this one, trust me. Alright, now I'll show you. Well, you can already see right there. Look how dirty that is. Getting all that rust and stuff off. Here's what we got for threads now. You can kind of see that this bolt is definitely not in the best of shape, but I think it'll do for what we're going to do with it. You know, adjusting a headlight. But I don't see any goobered threads anymore, so I'll keep doing that to the rest of the thread, and then we'll try to find something to put it through so we can actually adjust that headlight. So in addition to those thread files, we're also going to run a die through it. Now what a die does is it cuts threads into regular stock or into stuff like this. If you have a bad spot, same thing that those thread files do, but this is definitely a bit more meant for it, because you can get full 360 all the way around. And so we're going to run this through. Seems to be that those thread files did pretty good. But in your standard rethread kit, you'll either get a tap, which looks like this. This is a tap. Basically, it's one of those bolts with channels cut out of it and a sharp edge that cuts threads into a hole, or rethreads a hole if it's been stripped out. But that'll be for a later video, because I'm sure we'll have to do it at some point. Because we're actually getting pretty lucky. Normally it's not this nice. So we have a rebuilt little bolt here now. I'll go ahead and probably squirt it off, clean it up. You can still see there's a little bit of rust and dust on that, but all in all, it is much better than it was, and I think we'll be able to reuse this. So now we just have to find something for this to thread into so we can adjust that light. So while I was looking around for something to go on the end of this little screw we just fixed, I found something better. Exactly what we needed. Now that unfortunately means we won't be able to use what we just fixed because it's too big. This one is just a little bit smaller with the plastic that the screw fits into, but that's okay. We now have a fully fixed headlight adjustment screw for a 64 Chevrolet. We might need it at some point. There's several other ones that are on this, or maybe we'll need it for something else later on down the road. But you know, it's always good to exercise those skills and abilities, and you guys got to see how to fix an old rusty screw. So anywho, let's go ahead and see what we can do with this. If this is going to work for us, hopefully it does, because this is pretty much almost like stock or original, except for this is off a Jeep Cherokee. But we'll go ahead and see what happens here. So because that is a little long for what's on here and the plug is different, I'm going to have to hold the bottom end of it down here while I screw it in so that it will enter the square hole, and hopefully we'll be able to adjust it. Now I did have to modify the 1990s Jeep Cherokee part in order to fit in the 64 Chevy's little square hole here, but in theory it should work just fine. Okay, looks like we're now in the hole. All right. So now that we know we can adjust it up, will it return? So, I mean, it'll work for now. Yeah, it doesn't seem to affect our left and right movement, but because there's no clips on the back, that wants to fall out. It does fine going up, but when you want it to go back down, I mean, it'll do. It was having a problem staying up, so it'll be fine. So there is our free fix to probably not an expensive system here, but at least we're able to use stuff that's just laying around to fix stuff like this. So using modified Jeep Cherokee parts from the 90s, we were able to fix the headlight adjustment screw on this 1964 Chevrolet grill. Now, that doesn't mean that we're done working on this grill. We're not going to be putting it back in today because we want to do some paint work on this grill. Now, we're not going to change the patina. We're going to clear coat this whole grill and repaint the Chevy letters so that those pop, which means we also have to take it all back apart again. But you'll have to wait for all that for the next video where we restore the paint on this 1964 Chevy, at least begin the process, because this one's going to be a little bit more than one video like that tractor was. So I want to thank you guys so much for stopping by the garage today. Go back and watch some of our older videos. There's a lot of stuff on this channel. I already mentioned the tractor, and there's also some motorcycles and some other classic cars. So make sure you like and subscribe, turn on that notification bell, share this video with your friends, and we'll see you right back here at the garage in the next video.